Oh crap, I'm late. Hey, Cal. Hi, Sandy. Gotta get a beer. Wait, glasses. What am I, 16? Oh, hell yeah. Jacket.
Hear me. Look at these.
Beer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mic check, mic check.
And we're live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, we're Tony and Chelsea.
Hi, it's Tony and Chelsea Live.
And this episode is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for creating a fast and easy professional website or online photography portfolio. You can try it for 14 days for free. I think you're going to love it. No credit card needed. And if you decide that you want to show it to your friends or actually commit to it and buy a real grown-up portfolio, you can go to squarespace.com/Tony and use the coupon code PHOTOLIVE and you'll get 10% off.
Sounds good. You know, I did a little experiment because we get people complaining about our Squarespace ads. And first, somebody has to pay for this. It's not free. We have like tens of thousands of dollars of equipment. 4 people working right now just to make this work. So somebody has to pay for it. And so I thought, I'll try out this fan funding thing that YouTube has. And they give an option for people to just donate a few dollars to
Let
support.
me guess how generous people were.
Yeah.
$0.
On the nose. Nobody donated anything. I put it on a couple of our most popular videos, so certainly it got thousands and thousands of views.
Yeah.
And so far, 0 people. So this was like my opportunity to say, hey, if you guys are annoyed by sponsors, you can all chip in. It would only be a few pennies per person.
Yeah.
0 people. So that's why the only
Was
model
this
that seems
just
to
like
work.
an elaborate way to say quit your bitchin'?
No, it was genuinely an experiment. I thought maybe it would work and we'd find an alternative to the sponsor model.
Yeah.
But free content with sponsorship is the only thing that's worked for decades of humanity and different forms of
Look,
entertainment.
I'm not trying to like blow
So thank
up
you, Squarespace.
a sweet deal. I like my sponsor and they make it happen. First thing that I wanted to announce is that we're having an abstract photo contest. And you could submit your abstract pictures to tony@northrop.org with the subject title Abstract Photo Contest. Otherwise, we won't know why we're getting your email. And the deadline is October 15th, 1 photo per person. And this is being sponsored kind of by Fracture because the top 3 best photos, they're going to give the winners a free glass print, which is like awesome.
Yeah.
I ordered mine already. I'll have mine in by next week to show you an example. Will you go to the next slide? So that's just a little picture I pulled from their video. You can move on to the next one. And this is one that I ordered for myself. I thought it'd look really nice in my family room. Very hangable. This is the large one. They're normally like $125. But yeah, the top 3 winners will get a free one. Super excited about that. We already have a bunch of submissions that I've been going through and they look really good.
Cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah, abstract is great for prints because it's not too detailed to distract from like the decor in your house. It doesn't make your house feel more cluttered,
Yeah.
but it adds a bit of color. And if you've made it yourself, which you definitely can with abstract art, it's very personal and meaningful to you.
I was actually specifically excited about Fracture because I've been looking for glass prints everywhere and they're usually really, really expensive. And a glass print is just a really nice, clean way to display abstract or modern art because you don't have like a frame that distracts from it. They look really good. And Fracture makes it really easy. The ordering process was super easy. It was just easy to scale my picture and everything, and it's affordable. So I'm hoping that it works out and you guys like it. If you have any experience with them already, let me know, because this is going to be my first time getting one. But so far, they seem really awesome.
Great. Sounds good.
I included just a few abstract pictures just because people were asking me, like, what do you mean abstract?
I would say abstract is anything where the subject isn't immediately identifiable. The subject of abstract photos tends to be either composition in its purest form or
Yeah.
light and color. So this is a photo that I think I took in Berlin.
Yeah.
We were shooting together, and sometimes it gets confusing. But it's a close-up of a fountain. But you don't immediately know that it's a fountain. What you do notice is the lines and the colors and the kind of smooth texture
Yeah.
of it. And that's why it's abstract, because the subject isn't the subject.
I included another picture just because you know this is a woman, but it's presented in a different way and it has a different texture and it has a different method of taking the picture. So that also counts as abstract. If you're still unsure, you can Google it. Once again, submit your pictures to tony@northrop.org and make sure you have the subject title Abstract Photography Contest.
And this is a good segue because the model here is our friend Siobhan.
Yeah.
Video editor / screener for your comments. And oh, look, Siobhan's working right now.
Oh, hi, Siobhan.
And there's her husband, Eric, wearing shorts and socks.
Oh, he's showing his butt. She has a
Hey,
beard.
Siobhan's got a beard too. Good for you guys. So Siobhan will be processing your comments. You can write a comment into us and a question. And the topic for today is your first camera. So we want to hear about your first camera and basically why you got into photography.
I'm so distracted.
So
I
just write it right
I
into
miss
the
Siobhan.
comments.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
we'll just
I love
have to.
Siobhan. I miss her.
Okay. So it's your first camera. Write in the comments, and Siobhan will take your comments and send them over to us, and then Justin here in the studio can read it. Hopefully next week we'll have Siobhan reading the comments live remotely. We just have some
Yeah.
more technology to deal with. And we'll be doing live photo reviews today. We will look at your pictures. Right now, you can go to sdp.io/submit, drag your picture in, and it will get beamed to my computer. Just hang out and watch the live show, and we'll give your photo a critique.
Cool. You're super cool. This is your first
Yes.
camera?
Crappy disposable camera. So this was like the smartphone
I feel bad
pictures
for
of the children of the 80s. We would go to the pharmacy and buy these cameras that cost like $5, and then you wouldn't even take the film out.
The
You would just send the
1880s.
whole, funny, you would send the entire camera to your pharmacy or whatever, and they'd come back with 4x6
Oh
prints.
my gosh, and like only one in the whole roll was even worth looking at.
Yeah. So when I first moved to New England from Texas, I was so taken by trees.
I've been to Texas. The trees are not the most impressive trees.
No, you're taller than most of the trees there. But here we have like these 50-foot trees. So we traveled a lot, and I really got into the wildlife because wildlife in Texas are like horny toads and little things that can live under rocks.
Yeah.
And this was one of the first pictures I took with my first disposable camera
You lucky man.
in Baxter State Park. And I couldn't believe it. But I think for a lot of photographers, you have to have that moment where you take a good picture.
Yeah, and you're like, I can do this.
This was all luck.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't like I
It's not
planned
like you
this shot
tried to
out.
silhouette the moose. Like you're like, a nice silhouette.
I just happened to get there at a great time of day, and there happened to be a moose in this lake with a mountain. Anyway, the shot turned out remarkably well. I threw
really
this
good.
in. This was also taken with that disposable camera. It
Why
had
were
like
you
a 30.
so close to that moose?
That's why I put it in there, because it's not telephoto lens. It's like a 35
Holy
millimeter.
crap. You were up close and personal with that moose.
I didn't mean. You should never get that close to a moose. They're very dangerous animals. Not like a lion, but they could kick you, or those. If it charged you, it could really hurt.
If it had babies.
And they're massive. They're like as tall as me at the shoulder. Like they're massive animals.
No, I agree. It's not. They're not a joke.
But they just walked through the woods. This and a female. They walked within a couple of feet of me, and so I just threw that in as an example. Even then, I was like, I am gonna die, but I have
You're
to
like,
get the pictures.
Let me document my final moments. Beep, 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 boop.
And then as soon as I had enough money from having a real job, I bought my first SLR, which was a film camera, a Canon Elan 2E.
Whoa.
The E after Elan 2 was the eye-controlled autofocus model. And if you're wondering how well that worked, just think about all the cameras now that integrate eye focusing. You could like look to the side and it would use that focusing point. It sucked
Yeah,
a lot.
You would get that.
And that's
though.
why I know, because I'm a nerd, right?
Yeah.
So they tricked me with it. Oh, Canon,
You're
and
my
I've been
favorite nerd.
pretty much stuck with Canon ever since, even though it was a total lie.
You were like,
I
this
control
company
autofocus
lied
never
to
worked.
me. I'm gonna invest more.
So again, we're talking about our first cameras. Write in the comments your first camera, why you got into it, and Siobhan will feed it over to us so we can read it live on the show.
Oh man, my first camera, well, it was my mom's, and I took a photography class, and she had this beat point and shoot Minolta, and I started it, and then I realized I had to be able to like control the ISO and everything, and then I moved on to the next camera that you'll see.
I know it's just a verbal slip up. You said something funny. You needed to be able to control the ISO. Of course.
Oh,
with film
that's
cameras,
right.
you
That's
have to
right.
change
It's
the
funny.
film to change the ISO.
I was thinking something else,
Aperture, shutter
aperture
speed,
and
yeah,
shutter
yeah.
speed. Though actually, when I started doing film again, a few times I was like, I gotta change my ISO, and I was like, no.
Whenever somebody goes back,
Yeah.
they do two things. They try to change the ISO and they look at the back of the camera.
That I kept chimping every time
Yeah.
I'd take a picture with film. I'd be like, oh, you're right, not the brightest bulb. And then I got the Minolta XG1, which was even more retro. It was like my dad's when he was in Vietnam, and I thought it was cool. So I used that to take my first film photography class, and then moved on to a Rebel.
Yeah, we still recommend the T3. I just recommended it yesterday. Even after all these years, it's still a great camera and just incredible value.
Yeah.
You can get them like new, I think, for $400 or used for like $250.
Yeah, I think the T3 has a good camera.
Yeah, and they're still very workable cameras, just a really good value.
That's actually one of my first.
Selfie.
It's a selfie. Selfie before selfies were really hot. That's me and my daughter Madeline. So I think I got into it because I was doing all of the pictures that new moms do, like her feet and like her hands, just all the stuff nobody else wants to look at. And I think that's how I really started to care about it. Had a reason to document my life.
You're submitting your pictures at sdp.io/submit, and you're telling us about your first cameras in the comments. Justin, has anybody told us what their first cameras were? Any stories out there?
We're working out some kinks.
Oh, all right.
We'll be with you in a moment.
Okay. Technical problems happen on live shows. There's the link to do the photo review. So, first,
What?
people submit their pictures sometimes when we're not live.
Yeah.
And so I like to just look at the thumbnails.
Multiple times.
And see if any of these pictures strike us, because the thumbnails are so important.
I love that dog.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Right. And it's a good thumbnail too, because there's eye contact, but also it's just a cute subject, and subject trumps everything. So when you look at the actual picture, there's distractions and stuff, but you don't see that in the thumbnail. This is a good thumbnail too. Again, the subject is clear, no distractions, simple composition, good lighting, and overall it's just
I
a great
love the
low-key portrait.
expression in the light. The only thing that I would change is I would bring up the shadows and the hair a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because to the left, it's just like, you totally lose it.
I would actually love to see a kicker light over there. I see he's got a softbox, which is providing a nice light. But you need another light back there. It'll just separate her hair. And also, the red and white completely distracts me from the low-key picture. This is another good picture with great eye contact, simple composition, nicely
Oh, it's
done.
the same person?
Huh,
Yeah.
I guess he's got a
Whoa,
style.
whoa. You are really submitting a lot.
Oh, yeah, let's keep it to
Whoa.
one picture, guys. Just
Every
pick your
single
best
picture is from the same person.
Yeah, well, they're all good pictures.
You're
It seems like he
enthusiastic.
wanted
I'll
us to
give you that.
review his whole portfolio.
Yeah.
So,
Would do that like, oh, okay.
that's a cool shot. I have almost
is
that
cool.
exact picture. I guess because
Bottom left, the sexy one.
oh, okay.
Sexy.
Yeah,
I like the thumbnail
that's a nice
better.
angle.
Because right now I'm making eye contact with the cat tattoo.
Oh,
And I'm like, ooh.
yeah, I like
But
that
I
picture.
do like that it's like a subtle, sexy picture.
Okay, so we will delete this and do another import and see if anybody else has sent us over some pictures. And Justin, if you happen to get your comments working, just let me know.
I have comments for you. Okay. Dean Richard says, I just started a few months ago learning with the Canon T3i. That was a good choice. And
same one as Chelsea.
Yeah, I bet bet he didn't have to use that Minolta first.
Sir Kick-Ass-A-Lot 123 says, my first camera was a Pentax M series, which is actually my dad's, which I more or less liberated from him.
You liberated it from him. That's a good way of putting it. I want to know if anyone else did the really hacky thing where you get your first camera and you go to the cemetery and you're like, guys, this is going to be deep. This is art. Dead people are here. You just start taking pictures of like headstones and they all look bad. Someone else must have done that. Did you do it, Tony?
Yeah, it definitely went to the cemetery, and the pictures just end up so boring because at that point you don't know how to capture the mood.
Yeah.
And when you think of the cemetery, it's really the mood that you're thinking of, but then you go there at high noon.
Yeah.
And
you're like,
it's
ooh,
just
I'm
a
an
picture.
artist. And then I think like the next step for people is like train tracks. You're like, cemetery, not so good. Train tracks, I'm gonna nail it. Have you ever done either, Justin?
Oh, train tracks and cemetery?
Yeah.
Yep, I've done them both.
You did them both.
Of course.
It's a rite of passage.
So speaking of technical problems, for some reason we tested this out before and it was working fine. These pictures are just not coming through, so I'm going to have to download these manually. If you care to just fill in.
There's some more comments.
Okay.
There's a great deal of people that said their first camera was a T3i.
Yeah,
Several people, yep. And also another popular one that I've seen a couple times is the Sony A200.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we recommend the T3i all the time. Actually, just the other day, our neighbor across the street asked us to recommend a good beginner camera, and that was what we did.
How the heck do I download everything from Dropbox? Am I missing a link or something?
Oh, no.
I
Ay
know,
de
right?
me. That's Spanish, Justin. I speak Spanish.
Sargeek 1975 says he had a disc-style camera back in the 80s.
What does that even mean?
I think the film was a rotating disc kind of thing.
Yeah,
Did you have that?
a few different companies, no, because it was a mistake to buy anything but 35 millimeter film, clearly. But there were a few manufacturers who decided to experiment with different film.
Yeah,
And
they failed.
yeah, because you just never got that critical mass.
I just want to say, since we're like completely incompetent and we're screwing this up, that we also want to do like a podcast, and so that we could screw up that too. Because I was thinking like, what else could we mess up? I think a podcast would be fun. Like we could have other people come in. We could talk about the history of photography. We could talk about famous photographers and interesting stories about them. Like apparently Ansel Adams was in some weird club where everybody would go and take landscape pictures. They probably had orgies. I mean, I'm sure if we tapped into it, we could come up with some cool stories to talk about during a podcast. And I guess what I'm asking is, are you interested? Do you want to see more of me rambling about photography orgies? I don't know. I can't speak for you. Tony, do you think they'd like it? No.
I am focusing on this, but I will say I think photography orgies sounds like an incredibly popular idea.
That'd be the
At least
least
among our
attractive
audience.
orgy. No, but it'd be neat. There are a lot of good there's a lot of good history behind it. Like photography was responsible for the first movie. Maybe you didn't know. They took a bet to see if a horse's hooves all left the ground at the same time. And they wanted to prove the bet, so they took a bunch of pictures of a horse running, and then they strung them together to make the very first movie. And that was in California, and that's how Hollywood was started. I learned that, and now you learned it too. And I could tell you more things. I'm really bad at relaying information, so it's going to be probably really fun. Do you like that, Justin?
Yeah, that was good. That was a good bit of trivia.
I know. I thought that was exciting. All formed from a bet. And that's why betting is good for you. And everybody. Do we have any other people? Are there any interesting cameras? Like, did anyone start on like a Yashica or like something crazy?
Yes, Eric Lowenbach did. He says, my first camera was a Yashica rangefinder because I couldn't afford an SLR.
That's really cool. I just took a college photography class. I know like a ringer, but I wanted to learn some history. And there were kids that they just couldn't afford it, so they had these like $30 plastic cameras that introduce all sorts of light leaks and everything, and you still learn, still do it. So
Yeah, we get too obsessed with being technically accurate with our photos.
yeah.
Well, we'll come back to that discussion. Keep telling us your first cameras, and let's look at a few live pictures.
What is this?
You know, it's a bird picture, and I think the compelling part about this are these kind of like water drops.
Where are they coming from?
I don't know exactly what's going on, but
And the bird's also curious.
he has eye contact, so yeah, it's definitely
They're
an
not
interesting
real.
picture. What?
Are they real?
I would assume they're real. They don't look deliberately faked.
Okay,
Cool shot.
it's cool.
Cool smoke shot.
I like smoke.
Oddly out of focus, or maybe it's not smoke, but maybe it's like food coloring in water.
Oh, oh, okay, that makes more sense. Cool.
Kind of haunting. Wow, that's got
Ooh.
gorgeous texture and colors. I love that shot. This would qualify as an abstract shot,
Yeah,
wouldn't you
yeah.
say? Yeah, and in fact, I think this would look fantastic in a big glass print.
Oh, the glass prints are really vivid. That's why I like them.
Yeah, and they have a certain sheen to them, and
Yeah.
something else, it makes them completely flat, which you actually don't often see. Even if you mounted an 8x10 frame, it's just not the same because the glass is actually separated from the frame a little bit, and it's never
Yeah.
like quite completely flat.
You know what else is frustrating? Because we've just gotten traditional prints before. Even when you frame them, maybe we're just bad at framing things, but they tend to slip and get wavy in the frame. So they look good at first, and you get all of these expensive prints made, and then they start getting all wavy and warped by like the moisture in the air and just from hanging there. I want to see if these glass prints hold up. Whoa, that's
So,
very cool.
Yeah, this is very cool. I'll just zoom in here a
Is
little
that a
bit.
picture of a painting, or is that? what-
I think he took a silhouette and then used that as a mask in Photoshop.
Oh,
That's a really
someone's
cool
getting
idea.
Creative.
I love that idea. What a great way to present a set of pictures like that. Nicely
Wedding
done.
pictures.
Whoa. A duck, but we need a head tilted
A
either.
duck that's ignoring me.
Yeah,
That's
that's
giving
the
me
way
the
it
cold
feels.
shoulder.
It needs to be perpendicular or looking towards you a little bit.
I didn't give him breadcrumbs.
Um, I'm glad to see people out there at night. It's really challenging. Let's see if we have
I wanna-
metadata here. We don't have metadata.
I want to edit, but this looks messed up.
Yeah, it's a little messed up.
What's happening?
Stuff.
Okay. I'm just going to take my hint and move on. This is cool.
Yeah, I like this picture a lot. Beautiful mood, almost monochromatic, but it's the color that really brings your attention to the subject, right?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
purple on the flower goes right to it. Nicely done, Rob.
Yeah, Rob.
Car
Cool.
photography, we have a whole video dedicated to this.
We do. I love that.
Yeah, so this, I don't know the exact model, but something like a 57 Chevy, right? One of the early generation cars, American cars that added these distinctive wings.
Yeah.
So he knows that that's one of the key design elements of it. And so we
He
like centered it
accentuated
on there.
Mhm.
It feels a little uncomfortable being in the right third. It might be more comfortable being in the left third. These lines kind of uncomfortably go to the edge of the frame.
Okay.
I don't know. But I like the black and white.
I do like
Use
it.
Great texture in it, good reflections.
Spooky.
We've seen this, I think.
That's possible.
I think that I would crop it so that the end of the railing isn't coming out. Like, I want it to come off the frame.
Oh, just go right out
Oh,
there?
but we can't do that, can we? Oh, wait, we can.
Yeah, we can crop it. We can't crop
Oh my gosh, I'm the one cropping. Oh my gosh, everything's broken. Let's keep
Chelsea
moving.
with the cropping. Okay, let's jump back in.
Oh, we
Let's
want
see
to
what
hear.
Siobhan's doing.
Siobhan, your baby was so cute.
Siobhan is hey Siobhan. She's sending your comments over. You're telling us about what your first cameras were. I will jump back into the
That was it.
presentation.
That was all I get of Siobhan.
Yeah, we're not going to talk long about it.
That was just Siobhan at a glance.
A little bit of photo news.
Yeah.
GoPro announced the GoPro 4. They have two models. The black is a 4K camera, and the silver is only 1080p,
Yeah.
but it has a little LCD screen on the back.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I was shocked when I got my first GoPro and it
Yeah.
didn't have a screen on the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? There's a modern
do I
camera
do
without a
this?
screen on the back?
But this one has 4K. You know
Yeah.
who they sent one for free?
Casey Neistat.
I know, he's so much
And
cooler
many other
than me.
cool people, but we're not that cool, so we would have to buy one. Anyway, I think GoPro, I actually think this model is going to be really popular in the future because right now we kind of deliberately take
Yeah.
a single frame, a moment in time. Mm-hmm. But that's a lot of work for a lot of people. I think more and more people are going to be just recording everything and then pulling out a few seconds here and there.
Great.
So I think we're going to see GoPros strapped to a lot of people as they're doing different stuff. You don't have to worry about the composition. Like, you actually don't need a screen because they're so wide angled. They just capture everything.
Okay.
And so you just point it in the general direction. You're not going to get a great wildlife shot with it, but most people are kind of interested in recording them. Like, that's the thing.
Look at me
It's about
doing
me.
this.
Look at all the cool stuff I'm doing.
I know.
That's what these things are about. It's a big trend.
It's a big, big trend.
Another thing that I think is terribly cool.
What does this mean?
Adobe is releasing kind of an online streaming version of Photoshop for the Chrome OS. Now, for those who don't know, I worked for Microsoft for like 15 years as a contractor,
Yeah.
writing books for Microsoft Press, specifically about Windows. But I can see a future largely without Windows, even though it runs almost every computer nowadays. One of the big competitors is Chrome OS from Google. It's an entire operating system, not just the browser.
Okay.
And so you can get a laptop with Chrome OS for like $200, and your email is from Google, and your document, your office stuff like Word is all online. Everything comes from online servers. So it's like what they call a thin client. Anyway,
What do they call it?
a thin client.
A thin client.
Because the computer that you're touching doesn't do much except talk to servers that do all the actual thinking. That means that your laptop can be super cheap. It's just the servers on the internet have to be expensive. Anyway, one of the reasons we still use Windows, and most people use either Windows or Mac OS, is because they need apps like Lightroom and Photoshop. And so I've always thought, as soon as Adobe especially moves their apps over to some sort of online system, then Windows and Mac just might go away.
This
And they're
is
starting this. It's
great
a huge thing.
news. This could be great for people in developing countries.
Absolutely.
It makes computers more affordable, which like levels the playing field for everybody. Yay.
So you can get your $200 Chrome computer. Right now it's only a beta and
Yeah.
only for people with educational licenses like students and teachers.
Yeah.
But it means it's coming soon for the rest of us. You'll be able to run a full Photoshop on a $200 laptop, and it will be extremely fast, or at least it has the potential to be faster than any desktop because they have massive servers doing all the processing and just streaming the user interface to you. So I think this is a big future for applications like this, especially for photo editing. You'll just load your pictures onto the internet. You'll do all your editing there, and then you won't have to wait for Lightroom because your computer isn't nearly as fast as these massive computers on the internet. It's a big trend. It could kill off a big part of Microsoft and Apple's businesses and their desktop and laptop
Yeah.
PCs. It'll change computing. Cloud computing, it's cool.
It's cool.
I also briefly wanted to mention the Fuji X-T1. They're releasing a graphite edition, but I just wanted to thank them because we released a review that slammed the X-T1 in many ways.
No, it didn't really. We liked it. We just had a few criticisms.
Yeah, we had
What are you saying?
a few big criticisms.
Why are you thanking them?
They released a firmware update that fixes an awful lot of the specific things that we mentioned. So I don't know that we had anything to do with it,
So you're welcome,
but they're
Fuji. I
listening
don't know.
to users.
Yeah.
They did things like they gave you direct control over the focus point. Remember what a pain that was
Yeah.
to just change the
Go into
focusing
menus
point?
and stuff. Yeah.
Anyway, they didn't give you more than one-stop bracketing still. I don't know why they overlooked that one. But thank you for addressing some of these issues, and we'll be able to put it on the XT1
They
and
can't hear you.
take advantage
We're
of it.
dead to them.
Justin, any new cameras?
A lot of old cameras. Dave C says he had a Canon A3200 to photograph the moon. Hedge Carlson says my first was Sony Mavica with floppy disks instead of memory cards. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes, the early digital cameras. Well, I think one of the early barriers was that people didn't have a good way to connect the camera to the computer. So Sony figured out that people just,
Oh,
this was in the sneakernet days, like there were no networks and stuff.
yeah.
So you could write
don't know
your
what that
pictures to a floppy disk
That
and later
seems-
CD disk. It would just burn a CD and then put that in your computer. But getting it from the camera to the computer was this huge barrier.
My mom still can't do that.
Your mom can't remember her password.
I know. It's the same for everything. I almost saw Siobhan.
Yeah, we flipped past Siobhan.
Siobhan's birthday's coming up, so you guys should definitely send her like. And she also found out that she can eat gluten after thinking that she had celiac disease for like 10 years. So you should probably just send her like bread and donuts. Just hook a girl up. Did you know that? Girl can eat a donut now.
Okay, so I just figured out my problem, which is low disk space. So
Oh yeah, I ruined that by doing my Photoshop lessons earlier. Sorry.
yeah, okay. So I'm gonna need you guys to just talk
What is
for a little
this?
bit. I have no idea who those
Why are
people
so
are.
many men? Justin, I'm gonna leave it up to you. Justin.
Neil Harris says, my first camera was a Zenith TTL.
I don't know what that is.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Vinny Ireton says, I remember getting a Nikon Coolpix 2200 with 2 megapixels.
Why did you guys get into photography? Like, was there a vacation that sparked your interest, or did you have a child, or did you just see a beautiful, beautiful sunset and think, I need to share this? Justin, what got you into photography?
Just when I was in film school, they suggested taking photography class, so we did the darkroom thing, kind of like you did last semester.
Cool. I guess we have some
was
things
fun.
in common. I want to know why other people got into it. I think it's like there are a lot of similar reasons, but
Yeah.
Marty Smith says, my dad was always into photography, and I wasn't, but when he died, I picked up a camera and fell in love with it. It was a Nikon D300, RIP, Dad.
oh, that's really nice. Actually, my grandfather went to photography school, and I didn't know that until, like, just until he almost passed away. And I found all these pictures that he had taken, and he was dressed up like Lawrence of Arabia, and it was really cool to find out that maybe I just have a little photography in my blood.
Yeah, I remember going through your grandfather's stuff and finding all his
So many
slides.
cameras and so many
Oh yeah,
slides.
so many cameras too. But yeah, back in the day, you didn't just annoy your friends on Facebook. You had to bring them physically into the room and torture them by going through slides one by one that you projected. But he had like a pull-down projector in his basement, and he was all ready for it. And it was actually kind of a cool way to do it because you got to provide a narrative for it,
Yeah.
and it wasn't such an ADD thing. You didn't have to worry about the thumbnail looking good. Every
Yeah.
picture had a story because you were there going through it. It was just, I wish we could still present pictures that way, but you can't get anybody's attention long enough.
No, and that's why we're here telling people how to maybe stand out in the crowd a little bit and get someone's just more than a second of a glance.
So here's one picture that somebody just sent in. Yes, everything live is now working properly. And I
Incredible.
would say the one thing missing from this is a little bit of pop.
A llama.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if
You
they.
know, it works on a level. It's really depressing to me.
Yeah,
Like there's like
that
a
is kind of the mood.
sadness, and it's very sad.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Maybe it works that way. Actually, I think it works.
I'll
I
say
like it.
in general for cityscapes, if that's not what you're going for, then you usually want to zoom in a little bit tighter and kind of fill the frame, because so much of the frame now is just the ground down here and just kind of empty sky. So I'll either go panoramic, or I'll just find a smaller section of the skyline and just zoom in on that and kind of show that. So just fill the frame a little bit
I
more.
don't want it.
Speaking of panoramas, right on cue.
Panorama.
Nice use of the rule of thirds.
These
or
are good
even
colors.
more extreme. Yeah.
I don't know about that big lens flare. It's very blobby.
Oh,
Kind of like that's what I focus on, and I can't stop focusing on it. I might edit it out.
okay. That feels better to you?
Yes, I'm very impressed by you right now.
I'm working on a Lightroom tutorial. I've learned every
Ooh.
silly feature of Lightroom.
Here's
What
a
a
lady.
nice and thoughtful picture. Maybe it's because we're watching the Nick on Cinemax, but this
I
makes me
want
think of
gloves.
the nurse on the Nick, don't you think?
Mhm.
She looks like her. Beautiful picture. I like that a lot. What a thoughtful
She's
post.
cultured. I love this girl. We
I-
should hang out and have a beer together.
5 stars pick. I don't think she's of drinking age. She looks like
She looks like
15.
she's in Europe. They just come out of the womb just
With
drinking,
a
double
pint.
fisting.
Wow, that's a cute picture.
I like this picture. I think we've seen it before.
Hmm.
That or we saw some other adorable child covered in snowflakes. But I
I
like
don't
it.
remember it, but the exposure is perfect. Great high key.
She's cute.
Yeah, great picture. I'm gonna give that one a pick. Very nice.
This makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, we don't like witchcraft around here.
No, that's the devil's work. No, actually, it's a really cool idea. The only thing I'd change, like his feet are pointed down, but hers looked like she was just standing there. So I'd just point her feet a little more.
Okay. I didn't think about her feet. I did notice
all
there's
I
a
could
little
think
bit of
about.
a edge glow there. Just watch as you blend.
Watch as you blend. Ooh,
Whoa.
this one's very
Creepy
like,
multiple exposure.
I like it. This is like,
But you're distracted by the red guitar, right? Is that just
Okay.
me?
ooh.
Go to black and white, maybe raise the shadows
Maybe
just
raise
a
it,
little bit.
yeah. Very spooky.
Oh, that does bring out some weird stuff in the background, but yeah, just watch the distractions in the background, but really cool concept. Creepy look.
It's very cool. What's this? A car?
Yes.
Wow, I'm really learning a thing or two around here.
This is what they call a funny car. It's a drag car.
Oh.
And look at that
got a
hood scoop.
Big
Really?
hood.
Yeah.
You need
That's
to take a
pulling a
lot of
lot of
air
air
into
in.
that engine.
Yeah.
To cool that bad boy off.
So it's
Well-
a Camaro funny car, which has no relationship to the actual Camaros, but it looks very fast. I think they've done a good job. I would love to see a little bit of panning motion in there because the
Yeah,
background here
blur
is just
that
so
background.
solid. Just let's see if we can get the. So 1/320th of a second wasn't enough to blur it. It's going to give you sharp results every time, but if you go down to 1/30th of a second, I bet with this speed, you'll be able to blur the background. It'll just make the picture 5 times better.
All right,
But I love the
someone's got
smoke in it.
homework. Whoa,
Haunting night shot.
I love it.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Nice greenhouse.
It looks like something illegal, doesn't it?
Justin,
Oh, because it's got the fencing around it. What do you think they would be growing there, Justin?
Hard to say.
Justin's used to your BS. Tony.
He knows my tricks.
Oh, this is very simple.
Yeah, it is a simple composition. And I think as a part of a set, it might work better. But it doesn't tell much of a story for me right now.
Cool.
Low-key
Look at
portrait?
the sporty fella.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe
It's low-key, but it just feels underexposed, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, a low-key shot can be mostly black, but you still generally want some part of the histogram touching the right side.
You
I think
tell 'em,
most
Tony.
people will like this now that I've raised the exposure a little
Yeah, I
bit.
like it.
Go ahead and clean up the background a little bit, make it a little more perfect. And I mentioned it earlier, but I love just a kicker light with a dark
I know
background.
that about you.
Separate the person from the
People
background
have said
a
it
little bit.
about you. That Tony.
Guy
has
who loves a kicker light.
That guy sure does love a good kicker light.
Up close picture of a moth. Looks like you nailed focus on the eyes. Pretty close anyway.
Mm.
You missed it a little bit.
It's still nice though. I mean,
It is nice. It's really hard. What I'll do when I'm taking this type of moth pictures, you get really close and you're not going to focus correctly. You're just not, no matter what technique you use. So what I do is I put it on continuous and click, 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 just keep shooting. And I just move my body like this. Just move my whole body in
That
and
sounds
out.
like cheating.
And then one of those 20 shots that you take will probably be in focus.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a numbers game because there's just no macro camera and nobody manually focuses well enough to get it that precise.
Yeah.
So, numbers.
Okay.
Perfect settings, 1/400th of a second. You could even probably go a little bit slower, but you're at ISO 100. So if you went with like 1/200th of a second, then you could crank it up to f5.6, get some more depth of field.
Okay. Ooh.
Commercial photography, real estate photography, beautiful modern kitchen too. Real estate, turn all the lights on. You seem to have done that. Smart, great reflections, clean, no distractions.
I like it.
Yeah, great shot.
Very good.
Another
Ooh, let's
low-key portrait.
Bring up the shadows a little bit.
Yeah,
'Cause his
looking
eyes
at the
just
histogram, I
look a
think we
bit
can bring up
dark.
the whole exposure.
Oh, okay.
That works better, right?
I want to see him in black and white.
Do you want even more shadows in there?
No.
No? Back off on the shadows a little bit and go to black and white.
I liked it in color, actually. He has such nice skin tones.
Yeah, the skin tones are beautiful.
Okay. You win this time.
Color. What do you think, Chelsea?
I think it's... Is it a little bit underexposed, or is it just the shadows that are a little underexposed?
Feel free to grab the mouse there and crank stuff up yourself. But yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
think
nice.
I think raising the shadows just a little bit helps here. But beautiful spot. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But you might also try zooming in tight because I feel like this here, the light hitting the top of that mountain, that's got to be the focal
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
right?
But
And
I
the overall
love
scene
the
is gorgeous.
foreground, too. This is such a hard one.
Yeah,
It's
and this
beautiful.
is a great example of framing by including the trees on either side. Oh, wow. This is surely the same artist, but another great shot.
That's beautiful.
Let's see. Yeah. 24 millimeter f1.4, the guy shooting primes.
What is that to the left, the brightly colored thing? We can't
Looks
zoom
like
in.
a dock or something, but
Oh.
yeah, we got a really
might
small
just
version of
clone
the
that out.
picture.
Okay.
Yeah. Look how easy. And
Wow.
gorgeous picture.
That's
Perfect
beautiful.
reflections. I always struggle with these reflection shots, whether I put it at the third or in the middle. Sometimes it's nice to go for symmetry.
See, I think here he did the right thing because of the rocks at the bottom.
Yeah, I was
They-
going to say the rocks really set it off.
Yeah, they anchor the picture.
You do want to make sure they're in focus. They look like they might be a little out of focus.
Mm-hmm.
Focus stacking can solve that for you. Chapter 10.
Chapter
I think.
10 of our book, Stunning
chapter
Digital.
12.
Chapter 12 of our book, Stunning Digital Photography.
There you go. Okay, that's zoomed in.
Baby. I love babies.
So there's some storytelling here.
Mm-hmm.
We can see maybe the mom interacting with the baby. The baby's eye contact goes right over to the mom.
I might crop out the mom a little bit since she's blurry anyway.
Yeah, I did find her blurriness a little bit distracting. If you were, they're already at 1/13 of a second, which is really slow for this type of thing, but maybe
That's a
just
cute
crop that
baby.
down a little bit better and raise the exposure just a little bit. You know, babies are going to wear whatever they're going to wear. It'd be nice if this outfit were a little simpler because Mickey there is pretty distracting.
But that's like the baby's taste. You know, we learned something about the baby.
Yeah, that's true. It tells a lot.
This shot is beautiful. I love her dress.
Yeah, you know, my eyes right away went to her hand. Thank you for taking time to pose the hand carefully because that's not a natural hand pose. They were careful about the finger, so I appreciate the attention to detail there. Nobody's hand does that automatically, but it looks really nice. I didn't get the metadata.
Really? That's the hand is my least favorite part. We're disagreeing today. I would have done a fingers together if we're going to nitpick hands today.
Really?
This is a little claw-like.
Well, now it's just on.
How? How do we settle this? The straight fingers or that?
I
But
think the only way to settle it is with a bat fight.
I don't want to do that
It's a
again
gentleman's game.
because last time I did that, you broke all of my bones. No, but I wouldn't have noticed the hand until you started like ranting and raving about the hand. But I love the picture.
I had only positive things to say about the hand. Great shot. I love that you included the sun in the background.
Oh, dear Lord. I take it all back. Let's go.
I don't know what you revealed in the shadows. It seems like it upset you, though. This is a great subject.
That's cool.
You definitely use a tripod at 4 seconds. A lot of times with night shots, you want to raise the shadows a little bit. I
Not
don't
the
know if
sun.
that helps. You're right. There's nothing good in the shadows that you want to see. Great shot.
Sounds deep.
Nicely done.
There's nothing good in the shadows, kid.
Another carnival shot. Another carnival shot. Also cool.
Wow, where's this cool carnival?
It's trippy.
Oh,
Cute little chipmunk.
cute.
They call them ground squirrels in some places.
They do?
Yep. I would actually argue for more depth of field here. You could use a higher f-stop number. 1/2000. Here's an 85 millimeter lens, so they were really close to this guy.
I'm going to warm him up a little bit. Oh, he's in the morning light now.
Good edit. I like that. And it's always a good sign when you can see the photographer in the eye. Like that means you got appropriately close.
Oh, he's so cute.
Justin, you want to jump back and see if anybody has
Justin.
any comments? Here's our screener, Siobhan,
Siobhan.
with her baby causing a little bit of havoc in the
I bet
background.
the baby's doing bad things.
There's a lot of people with stories about how they got into photography.
Oh, yeah.
Gregory Emery says, actually, my very first camera was from my grandmother. It resembled a Brownie camera with the round flash disc on top.
Flash disc.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've not seen a flash disc before.
Are those the ones where like the bulbs are like almost one-time use or something like that? Or is that way earlier?
Well,
like
I had a flash
it's like
cube.
This?
I'm
looks like a
just
satellite
seeing
dish?
if I can figure out what this is. Nobody is mentioning flash discs. Maybe they just meant flash cube because this was a common format. These things, my parents had one of these.
Those look horrible.
Yeah, and each bulb worked only once. But it was a big step up from what we used before that, which was a pan full of gunpowder.
Wow, we've come a long way.
Yeah.
I'd prefer the pan full of gunpowder. At
Oh,
that
there were
point.
also flash bars like this guy here. They'd plug in the front of the camera. But yeah, can
Okay.
you imagine you only could use a bulb once because we hadn't figured out how to make something that bright without just burning it out?
We were idiots.
We're just going to blow the crap out of this bulb every picture you want.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So you can buy a new one of these for every 4 pictures that you want to take.
Like, that's such a terrible idea. Then what, you throw that huge thing away?
Yeah.
Man, people really littered.
What else you got, Justin?
Hi, Diana says, there was a girl I liked who was into photography and I took an interest in it too. Now I absolutely love it and bought the Samsung NX1000. And my second camera is a Sony RX1R.
Oh, good choices. He's serious. By the way, we're going to be getting a couple of Samsung cameras in for review. We finally made a friend at Samsung. Thanks to some help from a reader, actually.
Oh, yeah.
A reader, Samsung didn't reply to any of our emails because they're a massive company.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get in touch with somebody. But a reader found a Samsung rep on DP Review, wrote him a personal note and said, hey, these guys should review your cameras. He contacted me and I said, yay, send us some gear.
That's actually a good way to go about it. If you guys want us to review something, you should try that because it makes us look more reputable. I mean, they don't know that I'm a hack, so start sending us stuff.
Any other comments before we look at some more pictures, Justin?
Yeah, John Eddy says, I just got back into photography after serving two wars, Desert Storm and Iraq. The passion never left.
Wow, did you take pictures while you were there? That could be interesting.
Yeah, it could also get him court-martialed. Depending on what he took pictures of. There are real problems with soldiers taking pictures and being into photography. The government doesn't want to share everything that goes on.
Well, that's greedy.
Okay, so kind of a classic farm
It's too
scene here
dark.
with the setting sun. I thought the same thing. You're shooting into the sun, so maybe that tricked your camera's meter a
Yeah,
little
you need a
bit.
little
But
exposure compensation or
yeah,
something.
I think we've actually gone too bright here, maybe.
You
but,
don't know me.
Yeah. So a couple of tweaks. I might even get a little closer to the fence and bring that
I
hay
like
bale.
the fence.
Yeah, I want to get closer to it, make it more prominent.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's also a very square picture. So one thing you can do is get close to the fence and then look down the fence a little bit. Still include the sun, but use the fence as a line in your picture.
Okay.
Get close to the hay bale, make it more
I
prominent.
think
Just,
it's a beautiful picture, though. Ooh, this one's cool.
oh, but is this zoomed in? Oh, okay, it is zoomed in.
Oh, I liked it better when it was just the lights.
Yeah, maybe because we're thinking abstract, but I kind of liked just the lines of the lights too.
That was cool, but I still like the picture. Maybe the left white part is a little bit,
Yeah, it's real powerful, isn't it?
it's powerful.
Yeah, so we covered this in chapter 2, but it has a massive amount of visual weight being on the left there and taking up a full third of the frame. This composition feels a lot more comfortable to me. Good edit, Chels. Great visual line.
Yeah, that's cool.
Goes right up the steps to the.
I'm gonna make this black and
photographer.
white.
I like that too. I didn't find the colors too distracting, but I didn't mean to undo it. I just meant to.
Yeah, you did. I love this picture.
Cat needs some
Cute.
shadow detail, right? Because we can't see the eyes so much, but
That's-
cats.
That's scary.
That's good.
Scary little cat. Oh,
Big
that's
old
so
toad.
cute.
He is really cute.
That looks like me in the morning.
No, she doesn't look anything like that.
Mean.
Nice shot. Flycatcher?
Flycatcher?
Yeah, beautiful bird.
Crop it. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
I would crop it more. That's
Yeah.
a cool picture.
all this negative space doesn't really
I like the colors.
add much to the story. It's not bad. It depends how
Good
you want to
light.
present it. But generally, you're going to get more likes, more views on your wildlife pictures if you just go in tighter. So I do like, I don't think we have a lot of resolution here to crop down to, but I do want to include as much of that stick as possible.
Cool. Good. I like that.
Yeah, that's a good shot. How do you feel about the narrow lighting, having the far part of his face in light and the near part in shadow? You feel comfortable with that?
It's different.
Yeah, it is different. And, at least you caught a good part of his eye.
Yeah.
So there is a catchlight there.
This. I like this picture.
Yeah, that's really cute. It's just an important moment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it a little bit brighter, but it's not bad. And I feel like we could use a crop to just focus the attention on the subject a little bit more. Right? Oh,
Concerned
another
baby.
baby picture.
Everybody has babies.
Yeah, and I'll say every baby, you got to go in and clean up their nose, right?
Why do babies have that?
I don't know, but you just gotta clone their nose and usually the corners of their mouth, because babies are just pigs. They're just messy pigs.
That's like the least.
Now this baby is an angel, clearly, but you wouldn't even notice it on the baby moving around.
I'm gonna
'cause you'd
make
be
a
making eye
T-shirt.
contact.
Babies are pigs. Tony Northrup. You're gonna be popular. You're gonna be real popular.
But the brain sees things differently when it's a still picture. You focus on not just the eyes, but you will look at the mouth and stuff. So you don't see
Yeah.
a person. But you just gotta do the baby a solid. Clean up his nose and mouth a little bit. Wow,
Ooh,
that's a great picture.
spooky.
Yeah, gorgeous colors, great eye contact. 5 stars. Another wildlife shot. He looks
Same
hungry.
dude.
Look at this drool coming out.
Ew. Ew. This is the same guy. Let's just keep moving.
Okay, beautiful shot though.
Come on.
We did say one
Yuri.
picture. Wow.
That's the same man.
But look at that.
I know, but
Maybe that's Glacier. But,
come on.
All right. Nicely done, Yuri. Johan.
Johan.
Different type of shot. Concert shot. I like it. Slayer Nation? I don't know what his shirt says.
Slayer.
Perfect. I can't think of an edit for it.
Oh man. Now
Food
you're
photography.
speaking my language. That looks delicious. You win.
So I would be tempted to crop this, except my first thought is this picture was taken for a purpose. It's probably going to go into print or on a website.
It's beautiful.
And, if you're doing a vertical brochure, then you might need negative space up here to write words, something like that. You might say, blueberries in the morning are the best, whatever.
Blackberry.
So sometimes you intentionally leave negative space for
I'm
the
hungry.
formatting of the print. I don't know what the purpose is.
Oh,
I'd
man.
crop it if it were just being used on the web.
Whoa. I like that. I think it's a little dark.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was my thought too.
We think the same.
I
We
also
should get married.
I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of vignetting on this. I think I might have cranked it up too much. So let's,
I take all that back.
you want to divorce me based on the editing of this picture?
I'm a
Harsh,
fickle
Charles.
woman.
Real harsh.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot.
That's nice.
That's perfect. I don't know what it's being used for, but
Makes me want to
it's perfect.
have Easter.
Kind of
This is
abstract. Nice use of
interesting.
lines and
Mhm.
colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect, interesting.
Yuri,
Yuri, you gotta
you
settle
take
down.
great
Yuri.
pictures, but you freak me out. Okay, Johan.
We've seen
you
you too,
too?
but this is a nice
Oh
shot.
my gosh, it's almost time to be over.
You act like you're eager to get out of here.
Well, I'm like just really, really hungry. Pain.
It's not even 6 o'clock yet.
I know.
You need to plan ahead.
I know. I should
Have a
had,
snack right here.
I have
Maybe
beer.
some chips.
It'd be disgusting. Nobody wants to see me eat chips.
Justin, any other stories about people's first cameras?
There's a few questions if you're interested.
Yeah, bring them on.
Zahid Ahmad is asking, do I have to give up the copyright of our picture if I submit my photograph for abstract photography contest?
Yes.
No.
I own it. You're mine. No, not at all.
We had not even thought about it, but we're not going to do anything with your picture.
I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to say, so-and-so won, and then give them free things.
But we'll probably show their picture, right?
Yeah, we'll show it around if you...
This is maybe the most poorly thought out contest, but you can get some free stuff. We'll probably show you your picture, but we're not going to sell
I don't need
it.
fine print. I'm not that kind of lady. It is what it is. I'm going to give you free stuff, and you just
What else you got, Justin?
do it.
Eric Lowenbach says, if you do a podcast, I'm so there.
Woo!
Fabio Lanza says,
One listener.
One.
Fabio Lanza says, Tony and Chelsea, you use Lightroom, but in your opinion, what is the best post-processing tool?
I can't separate Lightroom and Photoshop because I use both, and I wouldn't want to just pick one.
Yeah, they do completely different things.
Not
But if I had to pick one, I would do everything in Lightroom because I can't live without Lightroom. I can't do everything with Photoshop. Can you imagine like using Explorer to
I don't want to
organize your
live in this
pictures?
guy's world. I'm not entertaining this question. This is painful. I can't just choose one.
Lightroom, Photoshop, Adobe. Go to sdp.io/Adobe deal. It's
Adobe.
$9.99 a month.
Johan.
Justin, other questions? I'll just
Hi, Siobhan.
hang out with Siobhan while you read questions.
Supreme 38, New York, I'm assuming his name is,
Okay.
states, every big business out there heavily relies on Microsoft Enterprise, and there is no competition in that field. Apple and Google are not even close.
I know, that's what I worked for 15 years. But cloud computing is starting to move away from that. Google Apps started out being just small businesses and then moved into medium businesses. And
Every
you know what? They're
empire
moving-
falls, my friend.
Yeah, they are moving
They won't
into
be
the
around forever.
enterprise.
Yeah. It's just the way it goes. You get big as a business and you get a little slow. You can't keep up with the small guys.
And it's not every enterprise. There really is good competition out there. And I know this because Microsoft is still competing with a lot of other companies. So yeah, it could go
Okay.
away. It could go away.
Okay.
Isn't like Unix or Linux like
Linux.
behind the scenes for everything?
When I got into the Microsoft stuff, I was doing mostly web hosting, and Microsoft completely lost that business to Atom, basically, like the Linux stuff. And that's what every website is hosted on nowadays. All Google stuff is Unix and Linux and other. Yeah, they're definitely not running even the majority of stuff nowadays. All your mobile devices nowadays are running something other than Windows. Not all of them, but some people have Windows Phone.
Okay.
We're boring the crap out of people.
Yeah.
What else you got, Justin?
I wasn't even listening.
Kevin Jarrett, going back to the first camera conversation, I got into it because my uncle fooled me into thinking ghosts exist with the double exposure he did.
That's awesome. One time I convinced the kid that I was his child from the future using Photoshop. So your uncle's very cool.
Speaking of ghosts, a lot of people just think flaring is ghosts. Like they don't
I know.
understand light reflecting off the internal
I know.
elements of a lens. And seriously, they do it all the time.
Orbs.
And ghost hunters, orbs,
It's
right?
a ghost.
They
Remember
use
the-
it as evidence. They're like, look at this ghost over your shoulder.
There's a ghost.
I never
was
have
like-
the heart to tell people that. I just wanted to vent because whenever they show me a picture, they're like,
Oh,
that's my father over my shoulder. I'm like, that's great. Oh, that's beautiful. But
you're a phony. I tell him, I'm like, that's not your father. You're alone in this world.
you just have a
There's
crappy
nothing
lens.
after this. I'm just kidding. I would never do that. Tony would.
No, just play along.
This is not, none of this conversation's good. You should have just fed me.
All right, well, it's 6 o'clock. Justin, you got one more comment for us? Oh, peace out.
Siobhan, donut.
Donut. I don't know what that means.
Gluten.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just
okay.
like so psyched for her.
Anybody's following the conversation.
I can't hear her, but I know she's saying donut, donut, donut.
3 Boog Photography says, actually my first camera was a Game Boy camera.
Watch your mouth.
The Game Boy camera was like the first digital camera,
Really?
the first consumer digital camera. And remember, you could hook it into your Game Boy and take a terrible black and white picture that had slightly more resolution than Super Mario did at the time.
It's not good.
And then you could print it out on this like thermal kind of fax-like paper that came out on a roll.
Wow.
But it was crazy that you could do that. And everybody's like, wow, look at that black and white picture.
We've come.
I'm going to look this up just to show you guys what it looks like.
You're a wild man.
Yeah, so this is the Game Boy camera here attached on the top.
I remember that now that you say
super
that.
high tech.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Oh
that's
my goodness,
these are some Game Boy
terrifying.
pictures.
Oh,
I didn't
yeah.
actually know they had color ones
That's
later.
not advanced.
Oh, but look at these beautiful artistic
I guess that's something.
8-bit pictures.
I guess it's technically a picture.
Oh, this shows you the front of the camera. It was crazy.
That's the first selfie. Game Boy.
Selfie for nerds. Oh, and look at the Game Boy printer. High-tech stuff.
High tech, just like me and Tony.
Well, thanks, guys. We are here Thursday every
At
week at 5 o'clock.
Eastern time, that's New York time.
Oh, and we
Just
should
go on
thank
your computer, say New York time.
we should thank our sponsor, Squarespace.
Squarespace, thank you for being good, for letting me make this show and have a sponsor that I love. And if you want to love Squarespace too, you should just try a free portfolio at squarespace.com, free for 14 days, and then you're going to say, Chelsea was lying, you're going to want one. Go to squarespace.com/Tony and use the coupon code PHOTOLIVE for 10% off.
Yep, your pictures will look fantastic. Everybody will be impressed, and it will help support us.
I'll
We
tell
use
you what.
Squarespace and we love it.
I guarantee you'll like it, and if you don't, write us, and I will personally apologize for the song. And there's no bigger guarantee than that.
Yeah, we're not going to give you money, but we will sing.
I'll sing, and it'll be horrible.
Yeah, as
That's
people
it.
learned last week at the end of the live show.
Ah, I meant to sing another song.
Okay,
That's it.
thanks,
Bye.
guys. See you next week.